Right, so I've got to get the timing right here. I need to hide that, and that will bring 3 of us up on screen. And I need to go over here, and we can say hello to 3, 2, 1. We can say hello to Bridgetti. Bridgetti, hello.
Hello, Bridgetti.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Greetings from Cape Town.
It's good to have
Hi.
Yeah, it's good to have everyone back together again in June. And I suppose we'd best start off with how are things and how is the weather? Whilst people join us. Marco?
Well, very warm day. Finally, summer came to South Europe. So it's a very warm day.
Totally agree. And we're joined by Corinda and by Tina. Hello. Bridgetti, how is Cape Town?
Well, it's not a bad day in Cape Town. We actually are into winter here in my part of the world. So it's a cool day, but it's not stormy and it's not raining today. So all is good.
Good. And Lottie, how are you today?
It's an interesting, fun day today. We had the longest day of summer. I recorded a beautiful sunset last night. It was bright sunshine at 5 o'clock this morning. Then it's been horrific. Then it was hot. Now it's just muggy. So seeing as the topic today is starting to go live, I thought I'd come just as is with no prep today for myself.
Excellent. Okay. Now, can you remember your first live broadcast? Or one of your
Yes, I will never forget my first broadcast. It was orchestrated by a narcissist. And he has been called out online since, which I'm very happy about. It was a horrific experience, something that I would never, ever wish for my worst enemy. So here's what happened on my first live stream. This is what happened. This person convinced me that he is in an excellent position to help me go live. And I have nothing to worry about. He's got my back. So what happens is we start the live stream. I'm not confident about the software that I'm using because I'm still learning. I'm completely green. And of course, as is normal, when you are very, very new in the beginning, it's natural for your heart to feel like it's going to jump out of your chest. And as if you can't breathe. Those are all normal feelings when you first make yourself, because you're making yourself vulnerable when you go on camera for the first time. It's an explosive experience if you've never done it before. So there I am with my heart thumping in my chest, very unsure, and I'm getting befuddled with the technology. And I had invited someone I wanted to be on screen with. And, she was very excited for me that we could be doing this. And as I was sort of struggling with the technology and feeling a little bit befuddled, he says to me, hey, get out of the way. Let a pro show you how it's done.
Wow.
He actually said that to me on camera. I will never forget it. And to add insult to injury, this is someone all 3 of you know, by the way. To add insult to injury, he then contacts the lady that I got on screen with me to be on the broadcast behind my back. And he says to her, you know what? I can do a much better job than Bridgetti. I will coach you and I can get you running on a program.
Sorry, this was to one of your clients, Bridgetti.
It was to someone that I am in a support group with. And, I'd been talking to her about saying, once I get once I'm into live streaming, let's start a stream inside our group. Let's start a stream inside our group and support the community. That was the plan. Obviously, he wasn't privy to all of this. And then he approaches her behind my back and says, you don't need Bridgetti. I will do this with you. The community is pretty small. We need to be super, super careful about what you say and what you do. You will get called out. Don't be underhanded. Do things the right way. It is also, the live streaming community is also an incredibly supportive community. I've made, this person is a narcissist of note. It's unusual, but he's still active. He's still out there. But generally speaking, I want everyone to know that the live streaming community is a tight-knit one. It's one that's very, very supportive. From the early days when we started, the community has grown massively. The technology has grown massively. When we first started in the early days, we didn't have all the help documentation that we've got now. We didn't have all the help videos that we've got now. The community wasn't as empowered as we are now. We are totally empowered, and we all happily share what we know for free, which is what we're doing here.
True. Wow. And we know him.
Yes, you do.
Right. Okay, just over to a comment and then we'll be back. Say hello to Joe, who's with 5 Days Live later this week.
Hello, Joe. Hello, Carinder.
And Corinda is here. And
hello, Head. Hello, Tina. Hello.
Corinda's just shared. Lottie, can you remember your first broadcast?
Lottie's doing Charlie Chaplin thing.
I'm doing a lot. I'm sure Bridgetti, that Tina can relate to that. We've all had it, but I think the important thing, and part of Stephen, what you were saying, and Bridgetti, and all of the team that are going to be with us in 5 Days Live this week, is it's about, okay, that was then, and this is 2020. All of us knew that if we weren't live by 2019, we'd already missed the boat, but none of us expected the reasons why. So we need to now, as the current live stream experts that we feel we may be, or actually are making a living from doing this, then we need to step up to the next level. And I love, Bridgetti, that you came up with the theme for this week of being the next level, even though we're going to talk today about where to start. So I know, Stephen, that's what you wanted to get into.
It is where we all began, getting started. And I do have 3 videos that we can take a look at in a moment before we actually get down to brass tacks and talking about going live for the first time. Marco, do you remember your first live broadcast?
Absolutely. Well, thankfully, I had a way more pleasant experience than Bridgetti. Thankfully, I was navigating through my Facebook feed and I saw this friend of mine, which, by the way, I was talking with him on the phone before the show started. And look, I'm on blah blah, and I hit that button, and then I landed in a room with some people on the screen, some people watching and commenting. I said, hello, how are you? And he asked me, Marco, do you want to join? And I said, of course I want.
Stop me.
It was a really pleasant day. It was that day that expression I used to say, love at first live, was born. It was I think it was the 15th of this September 2015. And since then I made more than 2 shows, I think. And yes, it was an amazing experience. I think the main reason it was so good, it was I didn't think too much about it. I just went there. Someone said, do you want to join? And I say, okay, let's go. And it was a really pleasant experience. So I think it was the main reason. Well, one of the things is when I like to, I don't take too much time to make decisions. And I went there. It was amazing. It was 2 Portuguese guys, 2 Brazilian ladies. We had so much fun. So just good memories.
My first live experience was basically on Blab, because I think that's where we all met. And I was watching a show broadcast out of Cornwall, and he was coming to the end of his show, and he said, "Well, does anyone want to join me on camera?" Well, I was the only person watching, and before I knew it, I was live on camera as a guest, and Phil Aston and I were talking about Blab and live broadcasting and what you actually needed to get going. And that was it. I mean, it was love at first live. I really enjoyed it so much that after the show, I thanked Phil for sharing his expertise, and then went on to create Blabbing for Britain with John Upton and Stephen Silk and the inimitable Peter Stewart. And that's where Blabbing for Britain came from. And this week is episode 232. So we've been going 5 years, heading for 6 years. So once you get bitten by the bug, then you're off and running. But off and running is the first step. And that's basically the first hurdle that we all face is, should I go on camera? Me? Will that be any good? Will people laugh or cry? Or will people support me? What do you think, guys?
Well, I must actually self-correct. That experience that I had was my first time going live on Be Live, because on Blab I had some amazing experiences. Blab was fantastic. I had a lot of fun on Blab, but with Be Live it was the first time that I had to learn a technology that completely befuddled me, because it was something that I had to learn. I was unsure. But Blab, I have some amazing memories from Blab. I have fond memories of Blab. Still missed it. And, Be Live at the time was the answer to the unceremonious cutting of Blab. I think we all remember that day when we, to our horror, realized there's no more Blab. It was insane. And so I think, there was so much excitement when Be Live became available. It was phenomenal. It was, I think we will always think of Be Live as having been the replacement for Blab. It gave us opportunity. I remember still fondly the first time we could get 4 people on screen with Be Live. We were so excited because we finally thought, yay, the Blab has arrived.
Exactly true. Lottie.
I've got a double-parted story, Stephen, because I can actually talk about the first time I went live on stage, which was as a ballet dancer, age about 5 or 6, and then years later on stage as an actor in my teens, then professional touring around New Zealand in my 20s, and actually ended up on presenting kids TV in Hong Kong in my 20s as well. And that was like my 20s and early 30s. So I've got that, where I learned a big lesson, as Bridgetti was saying earlier, about the fact that if you go live with children or animals, you have to do so with a great big smile on your face, not a shred of ego in any way, shape or form, and be ready to have an absolute blast disaster, because it will be a blast, but you will have a disaster happening every 5 seconds. So that's kind of where I learned to do this. And as I was coaching Confidence on Camera since 2010, when I was made redundant from Coca-Cola, I opted for redundancy from Coca-Cola and set up my new Press Play Presentations business that was about learning to play on camera and have some fun on camera. Then that's what I was helping people, supporting people, guiding people to do, is to get over the seriousness of being on screen. Because if anybody remembers, back in 2010, 2011, we had Skype. I had iJot, which was where you could do 1-minute video messages for your clients and put them into an email. Also exciting. We were using all of these video tools to communicate. And then the live revolution happened when is it live? Is it live stream? Is it streaming? What are we calling it? No, let's just call it blab. So we were all blabbing. And I love that, Stephen, first seeing your title of Blabbing for Britain. I just thought that was fantastic. And then as Bridgetti and Marco and Stephen have shared, like the advent of new tools has happened. And we've all kind of found ourselves safe and secure in BeLive, and loving the ability to have overlays and backgrounds and lower thirds, and to be able to type messages to each other, and actually for our communities to have a chat over there. It is over there. And for you guys watching to be able to interact properly. And I think that's where we need to be the leaders and the educators and move on to the next gen learning, as I call it, cross-generational, cross-platform, cross-tools, cross whatever it is, cross-face, cross anything, because everything is going to change. Links have changed, links have got lost, URLs to videos have changed. They may still be up there. I think, Stephen, I sent you one of my first videos in 2015, which was a demo for me. I'd just been at my very first, organising my very first virtual summit in 2015. And links aren't there anymore. The page isn't there anymore. The lead page isn't there. But hey, the videos, you can kind of see that the layout's slightly different. I'm wasting too much space above my camera, but this was me learning how to produce shows as well as coming with the lifestyle presenting, confidence on camera, coaching side of things. So some people loathe their first shows. The only show I loathe is my one with Max, the snake, on television in Hong Kong. I hate that still.
Marco.
Well, let me recover because of this snake thing. Because oh my God, they make me so, I don't like snakes.
Oh, Marco, you and I are best friends forever, my friend. I'm also not a snake. I'm not a snake person either. I simply cannot deal with reptiles. I don't hate animals. It's just they give me the heebie-jeebies. I'm not scared of spiders and other things, but for some reason, reptiles send me running for the hills.
That's actually human instinct and human nature. It's normal for us to loathe spiders and snakes and things like that. But the whole point is, Bridgetti, what I learned is watching that TV show. That's where I really learned the lesson first of let the emotions show. Let it be seen on screen. Because if you try to hide the nervousness, you just look like a total prat, and people spot it, people see it a mile off. So that's where the very first sense of the truthfulness and the emotional connections that we need to have to come here, the realness of screen actually came through. So was from Max. So Max was my massive learning lesson for life.
Hope I never need to face Max. At least this kind of Max. So what was the question?
I asked you in the hope that you'd know what the question was. Does anybody remember the prompt that got this conversation going?
It was your first lives and the early lessons, I think. What did we all learn early?
The early lessons.
Yeah.
Well, I learned this because when I started Blab, we had this group of people, me and some young boys from Portugal, and the main problem was, and that's why it finished so fast, they want to over prepare. They took no, because I won't speak about we need to make this, and I say, oh my God, who the hell do you think you are? Gary Vaynerchuk or Guy Kawasaki? I don't know, because you want to over prepare everything. And where are they now? I don't know. and I still I'm here. I'm still here. So that's the main thing I learned, and I thought about this because I was watching the other shows, and one thing about live streaming that I love, it's okay, we can have this prepared conversation, but often the conversation flows with the other people who are on the screen, with the comments that come in the chat, on the comments. And because we should understand this, if we are not paying attention to the other's feedback, what's the use of doing this live? Doesn't make any sense. You can record it, the quality will be better, you can make it more professional in this meaning of, okay, I want to talk about this. Well, so this, and this. Okay, hope you like. See you soon. It's kind of so. I always did this in. Okay, I'm really respectful about my audience. So I talk about things that at least I think I know, and I think I can bring some value to my community. This is my. Not a negotiable thing.
Negotiable.
Yeah.
All good.
Okay. I think people will understand. So, and that's it. If you want to prepare, because we must do a schedule and you should put topics and okay, go away. See you soon. I think it's one of the most important lessons about this. And I think the other lesson, the other two lessons I want to share. Don't think too much. I don't know, Bridgetti, if you know, if you remember this. The other time we did this, you told about putting in front of the camera with the preview connected, and I say okay, and after 2 minutes it go live. It doesn't matter if you hit the button or no. You are there 2 minutes. Okay, let's go live. So don't think too much. Just go live, and that's it. And the third lesson, I think Stephen, I already mentioned this lots of times. It's don't overthink about technical things, because I was watching this course by Mr. Stephen Healey on Udemy, and there was a video about internet speed. And okay, let me see. So if you want to have a minimum upload speed, I think it was about 2 megabytes per second or something. And I say, okay, let's see it. You show the tool to measure. I hit that go button. I just close my eyes, and after 0.5, and I was doing live shows about 2 years or something. So don't wait to the perfect conditions, because some of them won't arrive, and you will be stopping. Because one thing about doing this is, I think all of us will agree, it's the improvement we make by doing this. And don't get stuck because you don't have the right camera, the right computer, or the right internet speed. If you have the minimum, it's the maximum you have to start.
I totally agree. You've got to start from where you are. And I know of people who get all the best kit, and then when they go live, they get disheartened after a couple of shows and just put the kit on one side and move on to something else. I think you've got to tackle this one step at a time. I agree with that you've actually got to start with what you've got and improve as time goes on. And if we take a look back, I'm going to disappear for a second because we've got 4 seats, and I'm going to bring up a video, and we're going to hark back to if I can find it. I've got to find it. There it is. So I'm going to disappear, and I'm going to bring a video up on screen.
Hello. Stephen left us. Okay. Oh,
Stephen's back.
That, Stephen.
It's all right. Saturday morning. Nobody cares. We're all right. And now I'm going to go to the page and see if we've turned up on the page. Yes, I can see us both on the page. So people on Facebook can see us, and we're live.
We're live for this testing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Be live, not believe, but be live.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this only popped up last night. Jonathan Trick was trying it out, and it looks interesting. The basic beauty of this, its USP, is that whilst we're sat here, we are looking at the live screen, but we can see any comments on Facebook. So if anybody posts a comment on Facebook, it will come up here. So if you were doing a question and answer session, yeah, you can go live on Facebook and say, right, type in your questions. The questions show up here, and you give the answer.
Right. So you need two.
Right, so called Bridgetti drinking a cup, but that was me. That was me back in October 2016, 16th October 2016. The first sort of time that we were able to get two people on screen on VLive, and it's just every time I watch that, which is not too often, I assure you, you think, well, we thought that was the best thing ever, and it was at the time, but we've moved on so much in the last 4 years. So anyway, that gives me an excuse to show Marco and Lottie's videos later.
okay.
Right. Okay.
It's amazing. You know, we have moved on definitely from where we were at the time. You know, and I mean, just picking up on what you guys have said so far, the one thing that I think, you know, has been a big lesson for everyone from COVID-19 is a reminder, it's a stark reminder that you need to keep reinventing. You need to keep pivoting, keep changing. You know, the only thing we can count on is change. Nothing stays constant. You know, technology changes. And as you guys rightly said, because technology changes so fast, don't get hung up on the technology. You know, don't get stuck on something, because if you do that and the technology changes, you're going to be stumped. You know, the one thing that I think that I've learned from doing live video, and why COVID-19 hasn't thrown me, is because you literally learn to think on your feet. You're in front of the camera, you get thrown curveballs literally all the time, and you have to think on your feet and think fast. You know, it's like a guest that sort of, you know, at the last minute, you can have done all your checks and balances, and this has happened to me. You've done your checks. The guest is going to appear on screen. You've got them camera ready. Everything is sorted out. And at the last minute, the link's not working for them. They can't get onto screen. You know, you've done all this preparation. They've got their laptop at the right height so that they look framed on camera. And then all of that just goes to pieces within seconds. And what do? You get them to jump on their mobile phone at the last minute. They don't look professional because you didn't have time to get them camera ready because you had to hit the go live button. And you just have to wing it at the last minute. Now, the one thing I've learned is, you know, that sort of thing happens. Expect it to happen. Expect the unexpected to happen. And you literally just have to learn to go with the flow and relax. And, you know, I mean, despite your best efforts, I mean, I had this happen very recently where all the checks and balances worked, and at the last minute, I had to say to the guest, well, you know, we've got no other choice now. It's that time. It's go time. Just join on your phone, and let's just focus on the content, which was brilliant, by the way. So learn not to get too distressed when things go wrong. Understand that it will go wrong, and just go with the flow. There's some things you can't change despite your best efforts. And we'll talk a little bit about, you know, more about up-leveling your streams and how you can do that for the rest of the week. But my big takeaway so far is take a breath. Just take a breath. Don't forget to breathe, because, and I mean, I know it might sound stupid, but that is literally what happens when you're on camera, is you forget to breathe, and you feel like your heart is stuck in your chest, and you actually can't function because you're not getting oxygen because you've forgotten to breathe. So breathe. That's all I'm saying to you, is breathe. Just get your breath at an even keel, and whatever's thrown your way, you'll be able to manage it if you can just breathe through it.
Good advice. And basically, the thing you've also got to learn to do is not to panic, because if you can panic under the surface, but you shouldn't panic and show it, because that's infectious. Just like a smile is infectious and laughter is infectious, so is panic. And if you look like that you're struggling, then that comes across, and people empathize with you, but it is difficult to actually watch it when you're panicking. Now, the thing is that the one way around that, if you are liable to panic, then use the agenda, and use the agenda to actually have as an aid memoir, so that you can actually bring in items to rescue your moment of panic. Okay.
Stephen, I think that is so key, because for people who are introverted, or like you might have heard people talking about introverts and extroverts, and a lot of people say, "Oh, Lottie, you're an extrovert. It's so easy for you to jump on camera." Doesn't mean I don't get nervous or I don't get stressed. What I learned to do is I've stopped coaching people to overcome things, to overcome feelings, because to me, that phrase started sounding like it was a clamping down on emotional connections. So I always talk about now of maximizing. I've spoken for years about how you can turn your nervous energy into energizing energy, bring a smile, breathing, all the exercises that you can do. I've spoken about for 20 odd years since coaching TV presenters. But I think now the maximizing the energy, maximize the skill, maximize your nerves, because if you don't care enough to feel nervous that, this is actually quite scary, and I've got to really think about what I'm doing. Yes, I need to bother to plan. I need to plan. I need to promote. I need to produce. I need to present. I need to repurpose, like Jen Nelson's live stream life cycle taught me all about. You need to do all of these things and plan, because if you're not nervous and excited about them, sorry, as a viewer, I would feel that you don't care about me. Why should I waste my time watching you if you're not even going to emotionally invest in the learning you say is so key for me right now? And I'm getting I love what Joe has just said in the comments, that 4 months ago, this was still considered quirky. And now the world has become used to seeing Ant Deck or Graham Norton chatting with top stars from home with a dodgy connectivity. Our time is now. It totally is. Because this, if you think about it, television used to be live. It started live. And as the voice of Blab, Roy Montero, would say, this is TV 2.0. And so this is the new way of communicating. Sadly, what's happened as a result is some people are loathing doing this. It's like, oh, not another Zoom. Oh, not my face on screen. Everybody is getting really anti and antsy about having to do this, especially if they've been thrown in. And like Bridgetti said, when you've got somebody as a person who thinks that they're an expert, and they're selling you, and this for a fortune, they're selling you all these courses, and it's going to make you the expert, and you can do it like this. Sorry, absolute. This takes work. This takes learning of new skills. It takes adaptation of professional speaking or professional business behaviors. It takes learning new technology, learning new systems. It takes getting involved, like Lynda's comment Stephen's putting these comments up as the lower third here below. It takes interacting. And I loved Lynda saying, I faced a fear every day for a year, though. That's helped me turn the nervous or scared into excited. Yes, I always do that as one of my training tools. Say the word, I'm excited. You've got to look what you are saying. Look like you mean what you are saying. But the biggest, and I've got so many biggest points this last month. I've been literally tearing my hair out, as I'm sure you three have been as well. And Marco, in your multiple languages that you live stream in. And David Burrows has just joined us from Canada. I'm sure you've seen all over the world. This is how television first started. Sarah Fox, our live legals in the UK, said, remember, Attenborough used to do this with his beautiful voice live. We're just actually going backwards. But as I said at the start, our job as live stream leaders, live leaders, next gen learning speaker leaders is to pro live. Step it up and bother to put the work in, because it takes work. And I'm getting so with people who think, oh, it's so easy to do this. And then they turn up on screen like this.
You think they're professionals. They tour the world speaking in front of audiences of 1,000, and yet they turn up on video and their sense of presentation has gone out the window. I think the other thing that comes out is
I've come scruffy as anything, because this is camera ready face. This is to show people with confidence that you can turn up on camera looking however you look, because your viewers are knowing and expecting you to look like that. You don't have to waste an hour getting dolled up if it doesn't suit your brand or if your viewers don't mind. Now, later this week, when we're getting on to the next level learning, and what you'll see with Tina talking about the portraits, the power of how you look and what you bring to screen, and Lynda talking about confidence, and David is going to be talking about the business side of things. All of those tips will be really, really useful. And we're going to build what Stephen says and what Bridgetti and Marco were saying. We've all been chatting about how we want to build this into your next level, your next gen learning live. And you're going to see all these faces. And I'll put my this is my quick tip I've been sharing with everybody. 2D, we're flat on screen. Get yourself a little clip-on lens. It broadens the picture and it makes you feel more 3D. So you can see now all my lovely pictures of everybody who's going to be on the show, doing shows this week. Love it.
Brilliant. I think the thing that you've got to bring, whatever your background is, you've got to bring two things. You've got to bring passion and knowledge. Live video, you can't wing it. You have to know what you're talking about. Don't try and talk about something you know nothing of, because sure as eggs are eggs, people ask you questions you can't answer and you're left floundering. The other thing you've got to bring is a passion as well. It's no good just sitting there and reading from a script. You've actually got to project from the screen, and you've actually got to show that this is important to you and it should be important to everybody watching. And that's a learned skill, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I often look at people presenting on screen, and you can tell when somebody is reading off a script. It's as clear as daylight. You know, you can't fake it. You can't fake being vulnerable. You know, it's not possible to fake that kind of thing. So, you know, bring yourself to the screen. It's been an interesting journey during COVID-19, watching people from traditional media, and Lottie, you probably may have seen this too. You know, a lot of the people in traditional media are now having to use technologies like Skype and other live streaming platforms that they're not used to. So we really do have a leg up on being able to use live video. And I must say, my pet peeve is when they bring guests onto Skype. And here in South Africa, for example, I've seen them bring ministers onto screen, you know, dignitaries, and they look terrible, you know, on screen like that, as you showed earlier, Lottie. you know, and I'm thinking, can they not just take a few minutes before the show and make these people, frame them on camera? You know, why do that to anyone? It really is so bad when you are you know, a national or an international TV network. Take the time to make, you know, frame people well on camera. It's something that you do prior to the show. You can't do it once you're live, then it's too late. But just take that few minutes. And I mean, we've learned so many tips and tricks of how to frame people well on camera, you know, to putting your computer on a box. If you don't have a webcam that you can put onto a tripod, raise your computer, put it onto a box or books or something so that your camera is at eye level. And a very quick tip that I'm going to share, we're not going to dive deep into those sort of things in the show, but a very quick tip is to, you know, if you're using your computer, your laptop to be on camera, just lean your screen upright and raise it up. It'll make a huge difference to the angle at which people see behind you. It's a simple trick, but makes such a big difference. And it also, you know, I think it affects your confidence on camera when you look good. When people, you know, like seeing you on camera, it makes a huge difference to the way that you are able to come across with confidence.
It does. I can't remember the question, Marco, but it's just
I know it. Well, about this that Bridgetti is just talked about it. It's important because one of the important things of you being on screen is that the most important thing is the message. So if someone is seeing your nose from the bottom to top, I think they will be distracted by that, and your message won't be the most important thing they will see on screen. About this thing, which is passion and knowledge, be aware also that this will improve. I'm talking because I faced it, because my experience said this to me. For instance, one thing I like to do is share again videos I recorded a few years ago. If the topic I'm covering is still being evergreen, I like to share because I can't produce new content every day. And one day this lady sent me a message, Marco, it's everything okay? And I said to her, yes, I'm okay. Yes. Why? Oh, I've seen the video you posted a few minutes ago, and you were sad. I don't know. There's something no, because it was a video I recorded 3 years ago. I didn't have this confidence, this energy, this passion, because I was starting. So that's something that you should know, because before you start, you won't be available, or you won't be confident to give that sparkling thing and to make it more passionate. And another thing about starting, I talk by myself. It's that I don't want to be talking about the same thing over and over again. I like to bring some new topics to the screen. I like to go deeper. So I have to keep learning. I have to keep watching what others are doing. Even, for instance, my language skills, I think hopefully I'm improving on that. So that's the thing. Don't be too strict about you're not doing the same way as Gary V is doing, or someone you think it's the huge star on your field, because these kinds of things, this passionate thing, this energy will come by doing, because you will feel more confident. You will feel you understand your own tone on the screen, because, for instance, I like to move my hands. I like to do things, but that's me. You don't have to do the same. And that's it. people, and it's the same Marco, and people see that when I share videos I recorded just a few years ago, they see that I don't have the same energy. Another thing about the knowledge you share. At the beginning, you may not be the main guru on your field. It's normal, but be honest in what you share. How you can overcome this or solve this. Talk about the experience you have, the problem you solved, because nobody can put that on jeopardy, because no, I did it, I made it. So nobody can point the finger to you. And it's more safe. You will feel more confident because you know it by heart. It's something really important also when you're starting, because at the beginning, and we will talk about this, I think, Wednesday, about the imposter syndrome. It's really important to talk about something you really know without reading slides or texts. Just put the topics, because I have this problem right now. By these days, sometimes I lost myself in my deepest thoughts. So it's important to have some kind of script, but don't read it, because, for instance, if someone asks you something about, okay, go deeper on that, and you don't have that, you don't know, you will look a little bit silly, to not saying a lot silly, on the screen. Oh!
O Vitor, sabes de onde é que ele anda?
Opa, não faço ideia, mas ele, quando for à altura, deve aparecer por aí.
Então, Pedro, entra aí, pá.
Eu desconfio que o Pedro não está com o cadeado desbloqueado.
Aquilo aparece lá, clicas, aparece a dizer permitir.
É, tem que se dar autorização ao...
Bem.
So good.
That's how it all begins, isn't it? That's how it all begins. You quite rightly said, the contrast is visible between how you appear on screen, how you appeared then.
Absolutely. I
And
don't know.
There's no shortcuts.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, by these days you have, because you have lots of people talking about how to avoid, for instance, that thing. Oh, let's wait for people to come and then we'll start the conversation. Let's smoke a cigarette and have a drink. And I made this so often. Oh my God. Oh, let's wait. Okay, let's see.
I
one of my
find that really interesting, Marco, because I know as in our live community, we years ago used to talk about how to get going with a show. And actually, I've been speaking a lot for professional speaking associations across the UK in the last few weeks. And it's like that you can start with setting, as we would do in a training room or in a community coaching session. You set your ground rules. You set as Bridgetti was talking about, the framing, the frame, the focus, and the format. Set how you're going to do that. You can start off the show with that, but then set yourself a time. You'll see Stephen at the beginning of this, he had a countdown clock. He had the photo image. I've actually started doing behind the photo image voiceovers to set the scene and say, thanks very much for joining us. And if you want to join me on screen, you can join us here. If you want to get involved, you can start here. But it's like setting, we used to call them, it's not homework. It's the house rules, or I can't remember what we actually used to call them. But that's the training, the first few things that you do at the beginning of a training day or a training event. And then kick off, but go straight into what you are actually sharing today. Go straight in with a killer or a cracker opening that links to how you're going to close the show. So you might start with an opening, you might start with a challenge, you might start with an intriguing question. But having just been setting up our TEDx Dunleary application form via Jot form, the tips I've been putting there is, how are you going to engage, intrigue, challenge, demand. What emotions are you going to have behind what you're sharing? What is that emotional connection that you can actually open with that feeling and that mood? Yes, by the end, you're going to have a call to action. You're going to have gone full circle and hopefully answered the questions, given advice, given how to. You've looked, you've shared a story, you've done the setup, you've got stories, you've got the why, the what, the how are you going to help? How are you going to get out of this issue? And especially, as Bridgetti was saying, with COVID right now, as we are, without aging this too much, this show, because yes, Marco said, repurposing is brilliant. I'm repurposing old shows and the content is exactly the blooming same today, 4, 5, 8, 10 years later to what I was coaching people. And it's still the same content from the book. It's still the same stuff I was coaching people 20 years ago. But the key things I was looking while everyone was talking, and I was coming across my secret stages in the intro and reminding people, presenting is a two-way conversation, but TV is a screen. So on a stage, you've got people you can interact with. Here you don't. You've got to bring it all to screen yourself. Then the other thing I was noticing is, yes, you have to know why you're on camera, but know from whose point of view. Whose point of view is more important? The people watching you or your reason why you want to do this show? And we've had conversations galore. I know Tina and Lynda, you're here, and Joe, everybody watching right now. We all know the benefit from organizing virtual summits, from producing shows for other people like Joe does, and Tina and I creating Ladies Go Live, is that, and Bridgetti speaking there as well, is that when you turn up with your viewers' point of view being the most important, the viewers' opinions are not your presenter truth. You know why you're doing this, but once you're here, you have to be here for those viewers. They might like you, they might go ugh, and switch off straight away. But to keep people engaged and keep people watching, I've just done a couple of really easy ways to do that. Name check a few people, mention some comments. Hey, Corinda, I just saw your name popping up here. And the 3 F words, Lynda, that you mentioned, frame, format, and focus. That is both for how you set yourself up on screen, but also how you frame, format, and focus your mind into, as Marco said, the content, which is the most important reason for being here. Content that is learning for your viewers. People want to have lives that are easier, better, richer, kinder, healthier these days. What is your niche that you are the expert in, as Stephen said at the very start of here, that you can bring to the screen? Then match how you share it to the words you choose to use. So focus on whose point of view rules. And if you get the hecklers, Tina put a message up here ages ago about get over the hecklers. People are always going to say bad things about you. Some people will, because some people always do. So when you focus on the trustworthiness and the positive side of things, remember, viewer opinions are not your presenter truth. You can be here to guide them, help them, empower them, support them. But you don't always have to take on board all the negatives, because that's what we naturally do. We always go ugh about ourselves first. So the biggest skill as a live stream presenter to step up and move on and take yourself to the next step is to accept where you are, stop judging yourself, and take yourself onto that next level, knowing that you're bringing your best to screen every time. And I'm loving the comments that we're having added in here. This is one thing, all the comments that get, whether they're down below in Facebook or in YouTube, that's what we don't live to get the comments that say, oh, that was fabulous. I actually live, I don't know about the rest of you, Marco, Bridgetti, I actually live to share the connection with people. And Joe saying, tell them. That's an old story of connecting with the coaching that you're sharing. So that's always key for me.
to share confidence on camera with everybody out there and empower as many of you as I can to get yourself on video and get your virtual meetings going so that you can spread your business growth across the world. So, why are you here? Well, you've just been part of the Rapid Business Growth Virtual Summit, learning about confidence on camera, and now it's time to get your freebies for you to download. So all you have to do is go and sign your name and your email address, and the link's over there, and you will receive an email from me via lead pages with all the information. There'll be a URL with the video link that you can go and see unlisted just for you guys in YouTube. And you will also be able to download your document, all the equipment, information, links, cameras, tripods, selfie sticks like this, so you can do exactly what I'm doing, and you will learn how to set up for your virtual meetings. So go on, sign up right now, go and get your email address in there, and I look forward to contacting you and seeing your confidence on camera.
2015. 2015 had calls to action at the end, but by the way, none of those links are live anymore, folks. They're not existing anymore. That was the summit in 2015.
I wanted so much the freebies.
Oh, you've already got them. This is all the stuff. I've got some of my studio stuff out here. Just to show this is what you don't necessarily need. I have had the whole studio full. I've spent thousands. I know, Marco, you have. Bridgetti, you're the same. Stephen, you've invested thousands in creating your amazing online training programs, which you do through Udemy. And Bridgetti, I know you've been connecting with women around the world, from Ladies Go Live and beyond. And it's those connections that I love. And I'm Tina's comment. Those who matter don't mind. Those who mind don't matter. Just do you. So you don't need all this.
Oh, I love that.
To do that.
Incredibly, we have been talking for the last 58 minutes, non-stop. No, we do have the luxury that the four of us will be back on Friday, again, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. in the UK, and we'll be taking you to the next level. But before we do that, I'm going to ask you each for one tip for anybody who's just getting started. And I'm going to take, I'm looking now for somebody to put their hand up. Me, please. All right. Okay.
Stephen.
My tip, Lynda West.
Stephen, you go.
Thank you. Lynda is watching. So my tip is simple and straightforward. The best time to begin going live is now. There are no excuses at all. And you can go live simply by having your internal camera and microphone, no additional kit required. Just go live. I mean, the video that you saw of me on Blab, I had no external camera, no external microphone. It worked. It worked because something we've not talked about today, which we'll probably get to on Friday, and that's content. It works if you've got the content right. And you, basically, as I said earlier, the passion and the knowledge as well. So my tip, courtesy of Lynda, because we came up with the title together, is just do it. Don't think about it, do it. Okay.
I think my tip for now is, with COVID-19, one of the things that some people are struggling with is learning how to pivot. How to change. And one of the ways in which you can pivot is by embracing live video into your marketing strategy. We can't do in-person conferencing, but you can do online conferencing. You may not be able to do in-person staff training, but you can do online staff training. And I spoke about this on one of my shows the other day, and I said, it's phenomenal how many companies and businesses before, by default, excluded mothers. They excluded the differently abled community. They excluded the disabled community because they said, your job cannot be done online. We need your bum on a seat. We need to see you. We need to manage you. And it's the only way that your job can be done. Well, COVID-19 changed all that in the blink of an eye. Suddenly, almost any job could be done online. And it's also going to be amazing to see what happens to middle management with the new turn of events. So embrace live video as a means to pivot in your business. And talking about conferences, someone mentioned this the other day, and I thought it was a very, very valid point. With online conferencing, you could have thousands, tens of thousands of people in attendance, but it doesn't mean that you as an attendee gets the opportunity to actually say hello personally to the speaker, or for the speaker to interact with you and for you to ask a question. But guess what? Hey, presto, you can have 1,000 people in a Zoom conference and you can get to speak to the presenter yourself, and vice versa. So new opportunities are opening up with live video. Start where you are at. You can use what you have. There's just a few simple tweaks for you to up level from framing yourself properly on camera. It's tiny little tweaks. We'll share all those things later throughout the week. Embrace live video, and it'll make your pivoting so much easier with COVID-19.
Lottie.
I was pointing at Marco.
He's pointing at you.
High five, Marco. High five.
Marco.
If I'm going next, that's all part. Everything that Bridgetti and Stephen have just said is this is what is going to take us to the next level. It's the next gen learning. It's moving past worrying about what's happening now and accepting the fact that this is here. This is here to stay. So when you go live and do live, be live and be flawsome with it. Have your flaws and do them awesome. Because if you can have some fun while you're here, as my favorite play when I was a little girl and I was auditioning for it, the song went, "You're never fully dressed without a smile, 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 don't you smile?" So have some fun, have a laugh, and bring that smile to screen. I can't sing, but I still bring the silly things to screen. So work out what those are for you. And as the show that I did last Friday was talking about business and business funding for different governments all around the world, trying to connect small businesses to stay on our feet, to recover. Are we ready for recovery yet? I know there's new outbreaks of COVID happening all around the world. With my MS, I'm still scared to go out personally. I know, Bridgetti, you suffer in pain at home. And so just be aware that this is here to stay. So the next gen learning and your lifestyle presenting, you've got to have some fun with it, because as we said at the very start, it's all going to go wrong. So just do it flawsome. Be flawsome, folks.
Totally agree. And if you're going to get it wrong, get it wrong.
Absolutely.
Right. There's one of us left.
Who is? Well, my piece of advice. That's me. Okay, guilty. My piece of advice: start, for instance, with the last customer you solved him or her a problem. Tell people which problem he or she had. How do you solve them? Which results he or she got? Because this one thing, it's good because you know what you're talking about. Other thing is that the other people who are watching you know, so this guy or this lady knows how to help me. I have the same problem. Or they can bring some problems they may have, and you can tell them how you can help them. And if you talk about something you know, it's more easy for you to start. It's more easy for you to show how you can help people, and they will feel more comfortable, more that you are more trustable, because you are telling them how you help someone like them who had the same problems as they have or had. So it's a nice way for me. It's the best way for you to start, mostly if you have a small business or if you are a freelancer and you don't know where to start by some good problem from some success you had somewhere in your way. So it's good to illustrate how you can help people. It's good also to get some feedback, because some people may be watching you and they don't have the exactly same problem that you're talking about, but they will ask you about this. And it's good for you to create, because one thing or two things for sure live streaming will bring to you. One is trust and the other one is authority. So start, because you will see the results as fast as you start, and people will understand how you can help them.
A positive note to finish the show on, and we've overrun. This is nothing new. It always happens. We get so carried away talking. Now, who's going to close the show? Right, everybody's volunteering. All right.
Lottie.
Okay, I'll close.
Okay, so do it.
Bridgetti's clothes.
Yes.
One final tip that I've been sharing with a lot of people recently is remember, because I knew this from television days back in the 1990s, not every idea you have will be new, but your ideas must be 100% you. And over to Bridgetti to close.
I'm looking at you, Bridgetti.
From four different countries. We want to say thank you to each one of you watching us on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. It's been an awesome session. We really enjoyed this. We've never met in person, each one, the four of us, but we're great friends. We've been friends for a while, and all of that because of live streaming. If it wasn't for live streaming, we'd have never met each other and become such good friends. So embrace live video as part of your marketing strategy and break down the walls of your business, because that's literally what live streaming does. It's business without walls. Take your business to the next level with live streaming. Open it up to the rest of the world. Don't confine yourself in the box. And as someone I recently met said, out of the box thinking isn't good enough. His theory is we need to kick the box, do something completely different, because if you're thinking out of the box, you still have the box in mind. So he's saying kick the box, do that with live streaming, kick the box, do something different, innovate, be different, and take your business to the next level. Use COVID-19 as a stepping stone, not as a stumbling stone. Use it as a stepping stone to get to the next level. So from us, it's goodbye, take care, and we'll see you through the week.
See you. Bye-bye.
Think of my new house. One day.